So what's the story behind a miscarriage? You know, for something that is so common that happens to so many women, it's amazing to me that it's still so hush-hush. So I wanted to share my experience and also give you guys 4 things that helped me get through it in hopes that it can help you. Again, for something that's so common, when it happened to me, I felt like the only woman in the world that it had ever happened to. And I know that logically isn't the case, but it was really difficult for me. It was taxing on me emotionally, mentally, physically, and even spiritually. And I think that if you're a woman who's going through this, you understand what I'm talking about when I say you have that second where you're like, what did I do wrong? Like, what's wrong with me? For me, it was, did I not eat the right thing? Did I work out too hard? You can't help but to go through and take inventory on everything. And as much as people tell you it's not your fault, you have that second where you just, you can't help but to look inward. And for me, what was equally as difficult is seeing my fiancé. Every morning and every night before we would go to bed, he would talk to my belly. And even though I was only about 9 weeks when I had to have the DNC, I felt like I really let him down in some way. And that was really hard, actually, for both of us. And then I felt an enormous amount of guilt that I, in some way robbed him of something that was so meaningful to him. Which brings me to, what are the things that helped me get through it? First and foremost, I think you have to practice radical self-care. Like, I'm talking, if you need to sleep in, sleep in. If you need to go get a massage, get a massage. Go do things that feel really good for you and do it for as long as you need. 2 is be kind to yourself and be kind to your partner. No matter how far along you were, you did suffer a loss and you have to grieve that properly. And only time can really heal that. 3rd thing that helped me was therapy. I'm a big advocate of therapy, really, of anything in life, but to have a place that was sacred to go and talk about it was really important to me. And then the 4th thing is create a ritual or something around it. And what I mean by that is maybe you go plant a tree in honor of your baby, or maybe you light a candle and you have a ceremony that you say goodbye in an appropriate way. And every time you light that candle, you think of that little soul. And I also want to end this with a couple gifts that people got me that were really meaningful. So one of the gifts is Stories of the Unborn Soul. This book is really great. There's a whole chapter on miscarriage, and it talks about miscarriage in a way, sometimes we forget about the fact that there's another little soul who's a part of this process, and maybe they weren't ready for whatever reason, or maybe we weren't ready, and we have to go look and, take some inventory again on our lives and where we are, and are we allowing ourselves to create the room and the space for the baby? Now, this might be woo-woo for some people, but for me, it was a really beautiful gift. Another is this candle by Glass Baby. This was the candle that I used for my ritual. So I light this when I want to think about my baby, or I want to honor the fact that I was pregnant. And it's a really beautiful gift. And also the owners of this, they started it because they had cancer, and this was the thing that brought light into their homes. So I hope you guys found this really helpful and inspiring, and I would love to hear from you in the comments below. If you felt like if something helped you get through this process, let's create a space for all of us to be able to talk about it, because it's something that should be talked about a lot more.